Hello, this is Graymason. This is a video series where I do coaching sessions with players that are looking for some help and guidance as they're learning the game. It'd be helpful to start with the context of what's happened, a summary, maybe just a couple minutes, a minute or two of the first 12 cycles, what happened.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, I started out way down. Well, not obviously, but I started down here. I have my little home world here. I had these 6 stars. I
Okay.
went down here, I expanded a bit in this direction and upwards. And this player wasn't too active. He was a little absent in the beginning of the game. I capitalized on that by kind of pretty quickly going over to him. I got some pretty good industry going here, some nice loops, and just started absolutely ramming into this guy, which caused him to leave eventually. And now I'm literally just cleaning up the bot a little bit. I got a pretty good alliance going with this guy here, who was very strong in the beginning of the game, but now he's weakened down a little bit.
Okay.
And I traded a bunch of tech with him, and then with these two other players here, who I know have very strong alliance. Um, and now I'm just mainly focusing on just getting my troops over there. I got, you know, I made an agreement with my ally here to not attack him because after I took out this guy, the only direction was towards the center of the map, and he was totally blocking that off. So he gave me these 2 stars so I could get to the rest and not have to attack him because
Okay.
he's busy enough with the rest down here. So yeah, it's mostly what's been happening over the past 12 cycles. So yeah,
And your communications with yellow and teal have been, you know,
yeah, I've had some comms with them, not too much. There was a very brief discussion on maybe the three of us ganging up on this guy, but there were still some AI in between them, and they kind of, because he was so strong still at the beginning of the game, they were like, yeah, we'd prefer to have a little bit of a barrier there still before he just comes after us.
okay.
But for the rest, I just traded with them a little bit in the beginning of the game, but not really anymore since I'm actively at war with them.
Okay.
So yeah, there's been some comms, but not too much.
And your
Mostly,
communication with him has been still positive?
yeah, with this guy's still very positive. As you can, well, I got him to move these troops away, and he's going to be moving these away too, because he said he was worried that I might attack him because, there's always a bunch of troops
Sure.
here, but that's just because they all need to go in this direction.
It's
Um,
it's a scary situation. He's in a tricky spot for sure.
yeah,
That he has to trust you. He's in the middle, so you are in a much better position because you have a secure flank. Like
yeah,
you're going to
I
go no
can't really
way.
can't get flanked really.
Hmm.
Um, I proved that I'm very loyal to him because, if I had wanted to, I told him I could have just attacked him instead of just going way over here and having this exposed
Hmm.
line here. So he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And you can see he's moving his troops now towards Lax here, the yellow
Okay.
guy.
Good.
So yeah,
Uh,
and he gave me these 2 stars, and he's probably going to be moving off of these two. I don't know. He grabbed a carrier from here and just took ships off of here.
okay.
Now it's just sitting there. So yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Well,
he'll
this is
attack.
good. So your goal is to win, right? To get first
Yes,
place.
obviously, obviously. I'm
And
I'm in a very good position for that, as you can see.
and so Audible Jorgo, I assume is he? Have you spoken with him and asked if he's okay getting second?
No, I haven't talked to him about positioning. I'd be happy to help him get second, but I'm not going to be sacrificing first place so he can get it.
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll always be trying to get first place
Yeah.
myself.
Okay. No, yeah, I think you're in a good position. And just looking at this, um, and maybe we can do a quick review of the techs as well, the
Yeah.
intel
Okay.
of the
So,
four of you left. Yeah.
so total stars, I've obviously been climbing a little bit. I'll just quickly go through these. Eco, I have a huge lead on the rest of them.
You
Uh,
and Jorgo too.
yeah,
He's in second.
Jogo really jumped up really high very quickly, which is good.
So
Um,
what I would look for on the economy page here is at this point, don't let anyone get ahead of you. The economy at this point will win or lose you the game. So if you see like Jorgo do another big jump, just just keep a gap because that's the only way that he's going to beat you is to out economy you.
Yeah, I'll pay him
Well,
out. Yeah.
yep. Okay.
So industry, I've just been because I have such better
Yes.
eco. I can just pull ahead in the other things too.
Mm-hmm.
Science, I've barely bought any science myself. I've just been being fed science by this AI here, who
That's
just kept
great.
on buying science and me just taking those stars. I need
Yeah.
to move this carrier. So he has another 4 down here. Yesterday it was 2, and it bought another 2 again. So
Yeah.
now it's back up to 4, and took this star today. Well, he bought another 2 last cycle a few hours ago. So yeah, there's a bunch of signs still here to grab for me,
Okay.
which is nice. Back to the intel.
Yeah. Then let's see ships. I assume
So
you're in good
ship,
shape. Yeah.
yeah, obviously just a few dips here because I'm fighting now, but. Yeah, I'm way ahead on the rest. Carriers, that's not too important, but I have a nice lead, followed closely by this guy. Weapons, I've tied with teal and yellow now, but I'm gonna have weapons at the end of
Next
this
tick.
side.
Okay. Okay.
Next tick,
And if you
so
click on them, have they already procced it? Because it looked like they were ahead of you.
so
No.
no, that's my ally. Hold on.
Okay.
So yeah, they're still 5. They're kind of
Okay.
pulling away on experimentation,
Not a
and
worry. Okay.
manufacturing, but nothing too worrisome here.
Okay.
This guy caught up on Terra, but that's really it. Um, so weapons, banking, but that's not too important. Manufacturing, I might want to grab a level. I might try to get him to get a level. His comms are not too good because I asked him, hey, can you switch onto something else than weapons? And he was like, oh, sorry, yeah, it was also researching weapons, so there was a point where we were both researching weapons 5.
Okay.
But I told him, hey, I'm about to have weapon 6. Can you switch onto something else and I'll trade with you? So I'm waiting to hear back. Hyperspace, yeah, the rest is already tied up. Just
Okay. Okay.
experimentation where they're leading.
So a couple of things I would look for if you go ahead and scroll back out to
Yeah,
the big picture. So you are about out of easy expansions now, and everything else going to come through conquest. The one
yeah,
advantage they have on you is orange down in the bottom. So they have more stars to expand to with an easier time than you will. Although it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to catch you, and it will still take up stars or some ships to do that. Yeah,
yeah.
so that even if they
This,
split it evenly, that's still not going to be too problematic.
yeah. At this point, I have about a quarter of the map, just as my own stars, so
Hmm.
it's pretty nice.
Okay.
Uh,
So one little thing that you may not know is anytime there's an AI, once it's down to only one star, it'll never attack.
yeah, I saw that in the Discord.
Yeah, so that's something good you can take advantage of up in the top there. I think there were two stars right next to each other. No, like north, like
Yeah.
your those two. So if those are the last two for pink, or will be soon, I would get ships up there and then just let the AI buff up whichever one you don't take, and then when you're ready, you can take it easy enough. So that'll give you a little boost because they could add like more science and more industry that you could leverage.
Yeah, so that would be nice. Although I don't really want too much industry up here because it's really a lot of pain to get it over here because of
Yep.
just big distance still.
Okay. Yeah, and so you're terraforming with level 4, if I recall, right?
I'm 4 right now.
Yeah,
So
which means warp gates are a little bit expensive, and your range is 3, which is pretty limiting to be able to do just from homeworld to homeworld. I think typically 6 is about the range you would need. Um,
yeah,
okay.
I have been thinking about getting warp gates on these stars just to like get massive throughput here. Because I just have one carrier that's looping through here constantly right now.
Yeah.
Um, but I still have to see.
All right. So if you let's zoom in a little bit on your front line there with yellow
Yeah.
and see what's going
So
on. Yeah. So you have 250 hitting zoo, which
yes,
you should
this
take
this
zoo.
one is I'm taking both actually. Did the calculations.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no
Um,
problems there. And
so
I
I'll be
don't see.
taking this even before. he
Yeah,
gets back.
yeah, and that'll give you great vision too to see what's coming up your way.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what is Purple doing? Where's he attacking?
I think I don't really know what he's doing. I think he's really mostly focused down here.
Okay.
Um, I'm not very sure what exactly he's doing, but I saw in messages that, or earlier on in the game, that he was worried enough. I can maybe find it with, yeah, so this is that. I have scanning 4. It's somewhere back there. I'm
So
not
I
gonna go
would
looking
say
for it.
let's open up the intel report and let's do just him and his two neighbors. So if you hit none on the bottom, you can clear
Yeah.
that out, and then you can get rid of yourself too. The red circles, you want to get rid of that one. Yeah, and what you want to see here is change it from terraforming to ships, total ships. And this will give you a sense of what's happening and between the three of them.
Yeah.
And I don't. There's been some conflict, but not a ton. So it looks like they're. Go ahead and add orange in now. Yeah. See.
So yeah. So this guy's been mostly busy with orange here.
Yeah,
The
which is
teal and orange.
good. Yeah, and and yellow is probably you hit yellow.
Yeah, that's probably me right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see.
Okay. So it does not look like what's a little bit. I don't know if it's concerning, but yellow's not attacking your ally yet, which he could be. It looks like he's coming up for you. Teal's not attacking your ally much. Although it looks like maybe a little bit, but it looks like he's focused on getting orange. So I think you're in a great position because you're behind. Your ally is your buffer, and the way you lose this is if all three team up against you.
It would be difficult for them to team up on me on this point, no, because they'd have to fight their way through, and I'd see like this guy coming through here through the
Oh, you
south.
would you would see it, but if they just start traded tech with each other and not you, and
Yeah,
yeah, you're already yellow and purple are on your border. It would just be teal getting a path. So I'm just looking at like what's the worst case scenario, and that's the three active players teaming up on you. So I do think you definitely want to keep purple happy, and you
yeah,
definitely want to find out what his expectations are for endgame. Because if he says no, he still wants to win too, then I'd be very nervous about him flipping on you. If he's like, no, I'm cool getting second place and you getting first, then I would feel much more comfortable. So that's probably a conversation you'll want to have with him at some point here soon on what's his expectations for first versus second. Is he okay if he gets second?
yeah. I'm gonna. Does he have a win of his own already? No, he has not won a game yet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think
He's
that's a
played
good.
some, but
Yeah. He's gotten some, seconds and or thirds.
yeah,
But I think just that communication's probably at this point in the game the most important thing because you want to know where his head's at, and you're hoping the answer is, oh no, I'm fine getting second. I just want my quote team to win.
yeah. The
Um,
alliance.
hmm
Yeah,
And don't do anything to make him feel like you're being greedy or threatening. But
yeah.
yeah.
That's I have held off on attacking this planet because these two planets are like really worthless. That's
hmm
probably why he gave them to me. And he
hmm
told me, you can have the planets north of this border. And then he gave me these two, and now those are just sitting there. So I could attack this. I could have sent like 100 troops up there together with this to take it, but I was just like,
I,
nah,
I I would slow
I'm just
play
gonna
that.
leave it.
I would wait for him to mention again or move off of it. And,
Yeah,
and and then before, if he moved off of that Kuma, I would just confirm, did you want me to take it? Because ideally him moving off those would hit yellow, and um,
yeah.
that's where he would
I,
send
I was
those.
I was thinking that maybe he's just letting it build up a little to then get a massive hit on yellow here. Because I was thinking, well, does he want to take this planet here? Because he had stuff, massing here, and maybe this is really his only pathway down to yellow from here. But it's so cut off from the rest that it wouldn't really be worth it for him to be attacking yellow here when he can just go up here,
Right,
you
right,
know?
right. Okay. Yeah, so I think that conversation with him is probably something you want to do next, and then you have some money to spend. It looks like, and we just hit we're the first hour of the next cycle.
Yeah. So the cycle's a few hours
Oh,
ago.
it's yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I gave this guy this plan. This guy made a mistake actually, I think, because he sent ships over here to try to attack me here, but he barely left anything to defend. So then I just sent my ships over there, and I got a much better planet out of a star out of it.
Well done. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Gary,
So
take the crappy
yeah,
planet. I'll take your good one.
yeah,
Good.
it was easy. You might have seen it in Discord, or maybe not, but I told you that I held off on spending my credits
I
because of
did.
the Galaxy screen,
Yes,
which
let's do that. So you said you haven't
yeah,
really used this screen much.
not at all.
Okay.
I've looked at it 2 times and I was like, nah, I
Okay,
I
it's
yeah.
daunting at first, and it's not necessary at the very beginning of a game, but like where you're at now with your star count, it definitely helps. So I'll tell you how I use it, and there's a few tabs, but if you're careful with your clicking, I where it says disable updates, I enable those, um, because and you see now if you click on any of those numbers, you automatically upgrade those. So do
Okay, I'm gonna just for a sec.
yeah, for now. But yeah, I've spent $300 on like day one on a industry by mistake doing that before.
Oof. Oof,
It
oof, oof.
hurts. So all right. So let's go through and sort each column. So where it says the $E for economy, click on that.
So
Yeah, and that will
it
show
just
you
shows.
it's sorted by economy. Now you're not going to invest right away, but now if you click the little eyeball next to the star, it'll show you on the map where that's at. Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And so that you can see like, okay, that planet, that star, very safe. Um, now, if you think you may get terraforming, you definitely want to hold off. There's times when I'm like, you know what, I just want to make sure I don't spend my money because I want to prioritize economy. So the conventional wisdom is spend your science and industry right away. Don't do economy until the end in case you need it. But if it's a star that's super safe, at a certain stage, I do prioritize just making sure I prioritize my money on the economy so I can pull ahead. So um, it looks like you have one, two, three, 4 stars that are like the under 30. Just click on each of
Okay.
those eyeballs. Just let's see where all of those are.
So
Did
yeah,
you get that
Kiri
done?
is way over here.
Yep.
This one,
It's
it's
still pretty safe.
then you got Ras right there, which
Yeah.
are two of the stars that I
Yep.
got from him, and then Murga way up
Very
here.
safe. Yeah, so I would definitely, at the end of the cycle, go ahead and get those all up to your $35, 35 credit mark. And even that, what is it, Saginas, the next one down, the one that's 31 right now, where's that one at? Yeah.
Also,
So
yeah.
definitely make sure you save enough money to get those upgraded to the 36-ish range. Um, and that's why sometimes like I don't even bother. Like I just go ahead and spend it earlier just so you don't accidentally overspend if you don't calculate. But now let's look at your industry. So by that, you'll
Uh,
click on that. Yep. So now, same
yeah.
thing.
So
This.
yeah, Kiri, Murga, those are.
So go ahead to the first one. So for industry, typically, if it, I know it's far in the back, but it's 17 credits. I would just do it, and then anything back there, know that you're going to also need to build a carrier. So it's like kind of 25 credits more than that. But if you think the game's going to go long, and actually even not, if it's that cheap, I mean, you're going to want to go ahead and go. So I would right now, I would go ahead and yeah, go ahead and enable those and click on that one. Now look, now find where this next one, oh, that one there. Yeah, do it again. I get it. Go ahead and
Those
spend.
those two planets. So yeah, I
Yeah,
guess I'll just spend them
yep. So
now.
the 35
I
one you should
I have a
spend.
carrier up here already, so I can
Yeah,
just.
yeah. Wait a few turns. Um, all right. You might want to go ahead and then look at the front lines too. So and for those, go ahead and zoom in because this is where you're going to save a ton of time. So that one, that Merzim, double click on that, and you're going to see, okay, that's 113 fin industry. I would not spend that. That someone spent a lot of money on that guy. How about FAD, PHAD, the other? So basically anything that's on route, yeah, I would not spend 100 credits. No. If it were like up to 60, even 70, maybe, because you kind of get the benefit of proximity. What about slow packs?
Uh, yes.
Um,
These stars are very,
those are borderline
very
because they're
expensive.
so close. Because you think if you're willing to spend 50, another 25 credits to save you like a 3 day travel to me is worth it. If you have the money. So I would consider those, but let's hold off for now. I just wanted to see the things that were up close. Um,
Yeah, Raz is the
74.
same.
Go back one more to the west. Yeah, that guy there.
So this guy could actually be upgraded.
I would be tempted to. Yeah, I would even those other ones. Those like if you're gonna start spending more, I would. So I get basically I prioritize all the ones that are cheap, and then the ones that are on the front lines that aren't too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get those benefits so much faster. Let's look at science real quick first, because you got some money. Um, so
Science, yeah.
yep. So
So I
yeah,
got
so the
this
71, where's that? Yeah,
some
you 100%
credits
get that
here.
upgraded. So you may have to do that. And after that, okay, what are you researching right now?
Weapons, but that'll be done this tick. So I'm gonna see, do I wanna, build my lead on weapons or do I wanna go for something else? Okay, I could
Um,
quickly switch over to hyperspace range because I got that from experimental, so I'll have that pretty
yeah,
quickly.
real quick, just go ahead and change researching now to range. See how much time that's gonna. Oh, you have to do it in the top one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'll be
So that'll,
six ticks is all it'll take you. Um,
yeah.
um, yeah, if there's you have to look at like what's range is underrated. It'll save you a lot of time. I think a lot of times time is get your ships into position better. You
Yeah.
get more efficient routes. You can
If I
spend less
if I
on
got
warp gates.
better range, actually, I could maybe, get a warp gate
Yeah,
between these two because this one's a real killer here.
yeah.
This
I
long
would do
route.
that. I would do that. I would go ahead and here's what I'm thinking based on where you're at is. Um, you spent the money on the cheap things. I would not spend it on more. You're already top of science. Um, I would go ahead and finish your weapons, then go to range, and then look next. This cycle is just go ahead and put as much as you can after um, as much as you can into economy, so you really get another big boost. And then next cycle, you're gonna be even that much further ahead. You could go ahead and warp gate. If you're able to get a terraforming from your ally, if he's able to pull that off, I would see if that's possible. But
I'll see if I can get him to grab terraforming.
yeah, but I think that's your next big play is to on the is build a pathway with warp gates, and I would start in your core systems, um, and to the front line. So and
Yeah,
because
so
what'll happen
just
is they'll start to clump up, and you'll have this massive, it's like a wave in the ocean, right? Where it's like building and building and building because all behind it's warp gated, but the front lines aren't yet. And so by the time they clump up in the front lines, you're going to have this massive amount of ships that they just overwhelm them.
by the time this one gets up here, it's probably gonna, well, that's gonna be like in 2 days that it might get there,
Are you
or
familiar
three.
with the ruler? Using the ruler?
Yeah, yeah. I used that to calculate combat. So what time will ships get there? What
Okay.
will he have built by then? And then see will I win that, and will I still be in a well-defended position if I win that?
Okay.
Uh, Considering. So yeah, I do use a ruler.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious, like how much time it is taking right now. If you go from your home world up to the front line, the path you would take if you had the range.
So it would take this, then all the way. So
Yeah. So you're
all
going
the way up
from
here
3 days.
is,
Yeah, 3 days to one day is a substantial. Yeah, I
yeah.
would prior, and then you add a couple more from the northern parts. Um, you want to minimize, but I think they're like what about 130 credits now. So you could start building it now. Um, but if as long as you can get a couple, like you could, yeah, from Ire to Steppen, right? You could
This
get,
one is 142, this one is 153, because yeah, mostly everything just flows through here, and the Gnosis is like very resource
yeah,
poor,
yeah, I wouldn't,
so
yeah,
it
wouldn't,
costs a lot of money to
yeah,
build a
don't,
warp gate
yeah,
here.
don't do that. But yeah, once you get the range from Steppen, you can get to the
To
Razias.
Razaloth, and it's only 200, and
Yeah, I would look to do that.
that's
Get
worth
there.
it.
Yeah, because that's a long distance. But so yeah, so I would look to build out that path with the warp gates soon. But I maybe you buy two this cycle and then the rest in economy, something like that, because you just don't want to sacrifice. You're not in crisis. You're actually still winning, right?
Yeah.
So you want to keep your lead. You want to keep your lead with your economy, and then use that extra economy to keep building out the industry, science, and warp gates and infrastructure. Oh, let's look at carriers. So what's your well, I was going to look at count first, but yeah, if you look here,
So
yeah,
if
yeah,
if
let's.
we look at my total counts,
So yeah, you should have about double the carriers that you have. You should be at this stage about one carrier per star. Um,
really,
yeah, to get things to the front lines faster. So like look for example, um, let's start on the outer reaches, and see what
so
you have. Right.
the
So what?
furthest. So this is just a big loop that I have here. Just
And that's one ship that's taking
yeah,
that whole route.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So I would not. I would just change that carrier to go from Matar to Ion, just back and
Mhm.
forth. And as a matter of
And just have
fact, I might have
one do this.
I might have two ships going back and forth, opposite times, and then have one from each of those other the one industry stars. Just get one carrier for each of those, and have them all group at Ion. So you're going to add one, two, three carriers for this little section. And the logic there, right, is you're going to get, um, you see, like you have
Less
50, yeah,
stars. There's just a bunch of ships just sitting here.
yeah, yeah.
So
So they're
yeah,
not doing you any good. So yeah, I would build a carrier on each one, and then, but for the one that's where it's got more industry, you might want to get two carriers ferrying back and forth because Batar, and it's also a bigger star. You'll probably upgrade that to three industry at some point. Double click on that star, Matar. Yeah,
so right
46.
now
Yeah, I would just, yeah, right now, just make it
it's,
46. Yeah, there you go.
that's a steal.
Yeah, yeah. So you do that, and then what you could do, you could build a carrier on that Muscata, the one just to the north, down, yep, right there. Build a carrier there. Make it, go ahead and do this now. Build a carrier, make it min. It has, you want, we can fix that
Like at
afterwards.
minimum.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to do minimum. But yep, perfect. And then the waypoint you're going to want to do, take it to Ion and then to Matar. And then go at save and edit. And then on Ion you're gonna drop
Yeah.
all and and enable looping. Yeah. And that's it. And then so the carrier that's got 50, go ahead and just change that right now.
So edit waypoints and just
Yeah, and then just have it go back to Matar and save and edit. Yep, that's good. And then yeah, I would go for the other two. Go ahead and just build carriers and rally them back and forth.
yeah.
That'll get you. That'll
Uh,
get you good. And like those far like Matar, you might warp gate like down the road because it's worth it. But you'll probably end up paying a little more to warp gate Ion maybe once you get more terraforming. It's not a great star, but you're going to have a bunch of things rallying to it.
uh,
So yeah,
yeah, hold on.
yep.
So yeah, I have difficulty listening and doing something at the
No,
same
I'm
time.
the same way. Yeah, sorry, I should stop. Yeah, you
Uh,
don't forget you
so,
want to enable looping on those two that you just
oh
made.
yeah. Uh, looping and looping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you were saying,
Yeah. So now that little squadron should be better.
yeah.
And you're gonna put a warp gate on what's that? Aldib, right? That'll probably get warp gated. So what you're gonna want to do is have everything, all those stars, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are kind of near it.
So these here.
Yeah, the ones that are, yeah, those, and even over to Gore, like all of those, you're going to want just get a single carrier for each that goes directly to that hub, and you can do that later offline. But basically, just a single carrier, one for each star, bring them all to Aldib, and then of course you're going to want a carrier from Aldib to Ion. You're going to want two actually, and you could have one leave and one from each star at the same time. So there's because do a ruler check real quick between those two stars.
I'm gonna need to get a range before I can do that. But yeah, that's
Oh,
a
you
21
need
hour.
range for you're gonna get the
Yeah.
So get the range as soon as you
I'm gonna
get
get the range.
Yeah, and you see it's 21 hours, so going back and forth it'll be what 10 or 11 hours,
Yeah.
and so that's good. And then that would be a potential warp gate, that path. But yeah, so you got Ion good. Then you would get this Aldib. Those 6 gets have everything funneled into Aldib. Although actually, what's the one above of Aldib? That I can't quite. Yeah,
This one.
the one above that.
Formalhaut.
Yeah, that one you may still just send that north.
Yeah, that's that. This is like that's
if
my
it's about the
transfer.
same distance, you might as well just go north. But the other 5, I would go into Aldib, and then do the same thing with Ire, the IRE one. All those stars nearby it funnel into Ire because you're going to build warp gates, and so you want to get them to the warp gated star. So I would do so that each star has one carrier going back and forth. There's some things you might be able to do, but for now, I think that's the simplest way to make sure that, like you have, for example, on what is that, Finn? There's 17 ships just sitting there, and you want those moving forward. So
There's a 300 just sitting here.
yeah, like right now. As a matter of fact, get a carrier, get those moving right now. Don't wait for that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, as you can see, I work with big loops. Like look at this. This takes like 2 days, and then this one just goes all the way around. This one has a pretty big loop. This one's a big loop.
Yeah. You'll notice you'll notice the difference pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Once so go. I would do So you're gonna reach out, talk about diplomacy and placing, and then your next big thing is going to be getting your looping set up. Your for each star, get them to the hub. You'll finish your range and then set up your pathways along the warp gates, and then those are pretty good. If you want to, we can go back into the the galaxy tab, because I think you were. I don't use the carrier and ships tab often, but I'll tell you what I do use this for. What I would do sometimes is I would click on the column headings for like ships. Click one more time. Yeah. And then I would look to see if there's anything sitting idle. Any big number of ships sitting idle. And if you see, so like right there, you see, okay, this shows you that there's a bunch of them that are sitting on stars, but those 2 big ones, you want to look at those. So like Ire, we are looking at now, we're like, yeah, we definitely, like, you need to build a carrier like immediately and get that moving. But let's look at that one. All right, that one, you may have a carrier about to land on it, it looks like. Yeah.
That's just this one that's going like that. I probably need a second carrier.
You should do it. Yeah, you should do a second carrier. Yeah.
So yeah.
And what you'll end up doing, of course, is once you just need your range to fix that, to get the step in to there, so you don't have to go through that little guy.
Yeah. So September or Salas. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're what are you? I think you're like 5-6 hours away, so I wouldn't worry about it too much like this moment. But if I recall your time zones, so when you wake up in the morning, you'll have range done, and at that point, you should be able to go and set up these pathways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I think you're in good shape. So,
just this planet here, which I just started getting a stockpile here because of he used to have like big troops massing here, and I was like, okay, let's get somewhat of a mass here so I can tank the blow a little bit.
I think leaving that as is and letting it build up is what I would do there. If I were in a 64-man game with an alliance I trusted, I would not be wasteful. But the only way you lose is if that ally attacks you, and so you first of all want the warning and the vision, and I would in this situation keep those there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what other questions do you have?
I think this is kind of solved all. Yeah, this is pretty good. This kind of helped me out. it wouldn't have occurred to me this game or even in a future game or maybe far down the road to like get a carrier off of every single planet, because thinking about that before the talk we just had would be like, well, no, that's just a huge waste of money, because it's 25 credits for every carrier, and
Sure.
then I'll just rather wait a few hours for 9 ships. But thinking long term like that, it will be a lot better. Yeah.
It
Now
will.
that's been
And then
because
there's a star to the west of on the bottom there. How far is that? Will you get there with your next range?
wait, you mean this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get there with my next range. So I
Okay.
can just build
I
a single carrier, just go out there, see
yeah.
what it is, see if it's a good planet or
Okay.
a
All right.
star.
Perfect. Yeah.
Then,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's zoom out one more time, see if there's anything else we're missing.
So yeah, just this single AI here.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna really be
Yeah.
doing anything, as you said.
Yeah. So it's diplomacy with pink. It's getting your infrastructure in place to get things to the front line, and then it's just tactics on the front line. And it sounds like you're already doing some good moves on trading a bad planet for a strong planet. And then once you get warp gates, maybe we talk again because there's some tricks you can do with warp gates that people, even experienced people. I was in a game with Crasso, and he was surprised that he got his ships blown up by that Pyro Dray because um, Pyro Dray used warp gates to mess up the timing. And so there's some timing things you can do once you get warp gates in action, but that can be another conversation.
Yeah, in my 1v1 game I had recently, I really witnessed the power of warp gates. I got absolutely destroyed by Nat 20. Um, it was just so painful. Yeah, just how strong the warp gate was. I just kept sending ships, and he just, because it was a far distance that he had to travel, and he just
Yeah.
always had ships there. He
Yeah.
only had a travel time of 3 hours or something, and I had to go for 10 hours.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. So,
Yeah.
okay, no, it looks like you're in good shape. I would, if I had to put money down, I would put money on you winning this one. But yeah,
Now
so
it's
now,
just
now it's
up
just
to me.
practicing, refinement of these little things that'll help you.
Yeah, just don't fuck it
Exactly. All right, and I think speaking of which, did we lose you?
up.
Are you back?
Yeah, yeah, I'm back.
All right,
You hear me?
your screen. I hear
Yeah.
you. Your screen went away.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that.
Well, no problem. Up, and I see
Hmm.
you again.
There we go.
So no, yeah. I mean, so if you're good, then yeah, I think you're in good shape. I'm vested. I want to see how this turns out.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Uh,
Well, thanks for
yeah,
taking the time.
this was really helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see you around.
Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.